we're going to increase the targeting. And I said this before, sanctuary cities, you're going to get exactly what you don't want. You don't want to give us the bad guy and the safety and security of jail, we're going to flood the zone. We're going to flood sanctuary city neighborhoods. If we can't arrest the bad guy in the jail, we'll arrest him in the neighborhood. If we can't find him in the neighborhood, we'll arrest him at the workplace. We're going to flood the zone on worksite enforcement also. So these sanctuary cities are going to get exactly what they don't want. More officers in the communities and work sites, and more collateral arrests. Because when we find the bad guy, the target of the operation, likely he's going to be with others. Others are in the country illegally, may not be a criminal target, but in the country illegally, they're going to. So you're going to get exactly what you don't want.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Down, down, hey, down. Down, get down. That's fine. Hands. Hey, cállate la boca.
What you just witnessed right there, video coming out from our White House, Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers answering the call, acting on a tip from the public to round up 5 illegal aliens near a home improvement in Baltimore. The White House reiterating that ICE has a tip line for you Americans to use to turn in the millions and millions of illegal aliens. That number right there on your screen, 888-DHS to ICE, 888-DHS to ICE. Real simple. President Trump and his administration doing everything they can do, folks, to ensure that illegal criminal aliens are deported as quickly as possible. From self-deportations to the ICE tip lines, they're working overtime to undo all the damage that Biden and Harris did to this country with their reckless open border policies. And now the Trump administration wants to turbocharge the expulsion of these foreign invaders. In a recent meeting at ICE headquarters, White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller and DHS Secretary Kristi Noem ordered immigration officials to increase daily arrests from 1,000 to 3,000 and even more. You heard Trump a while back say it's going too slow. This is significant, folks. They want to step it up. ICE currently holds nearly 49,000 criminal aliens, I'm told, exceeding the capacity funded by Congress. Republicans now looking to earmark an additional $147 billion over the next decade to support immigration enforcement. The Trump administration also pressing the Supreme Court to lift restrictions on deportations to third world countries. Team Trump petitioning the High Court to overturn a lower court's injunction that temporarily halted the deportation of some criminal illegals down to South Sudan and other countries. The Solicitor General of the U.S. says the illegals have already undergone extensive legal processes and that the court's decision disrupts sensitive diplomatic efforts. You judges, stop being activists from the bench. The president says the time to boot these criminals out is now.
Remember, we have 0 Democrat votes because they're bad people. There's something wrong with them. You know, they'll let people pour into our country. Single biggest problem is we had 21 million people pour into our country, probably higher than that. And they're people that weren't supposed to be here. And many of those people are bad. Murderers, drug dealers, the mentally insane. They were closing mental institutions all over the world, not South America, all over the world. They're coming into our country, and we're getting them out. And we're having a hard time because some judges aren't making it very easy for us, and it's tough enough. They approved that. They allowed that to happen to our country.
Now, all of this buildup tonight brings us to our first very special guest. Few figures in American politics have embodied the raw, unapologetic edge of America's hardline immigration policy quite like Trump's borders are. Tom, you know I affectionately call him the Pit Bull Homan, a former acting director of ICE and a career law enforcement official. Homan made it his mission to try and strip down the bureaucracy, the political theater from border enforcement, replacing it with no nonsense, no excuses, a doctrine of swift deportations, aggressive raids, and zero tolerance. Love him or hate him, Homan does not compromise. He was hired to clean house. And before I bring Tom on, because as you can tell, I'm a little excited to have him as our guest tonight, finally, this is a little compilation my team put together of a few other interviews that Tom has done over the past few months. I hope you enjoy.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is.
Families can be deported together.
What I've been trying to do my 34 years serving my nation is to save lives.
Legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. They can hate me all they want. We're coming. I said I'm going to bring hell. I meant it. I'm going to stand by it, and I'm going to do it.
I've said from day one, you can not cooperate with ICE if that's what you want to do, but you can't get in our way, and you can't impede our efforts, or you cross that line, we'll seek prosecution.
Every day, the men and women of ICE are going to be in the neighborhoods of this nation arresting criminal, illegal alien, public safety threats, and national security threats. Lawrence, you're not going to stop us. I'm working for the greatest president of my lifetime. I don't care if people like him or love him. No one's done more than President Trump to secure this nation. His success during his first administration, unprecedented success. We had the most secure border in a lifetime, handed it to Joe Biden, who destroyed it on purpose. That pissed me off for 4 years. So when President Trump asked me to come back for the second time, I didn't hesitate.
Here now, Tom, the pit bull Homan, President Trump's border czar. Tom, it is so nice to see you finally. Welcome to Real America and OAN. I know you're busy. How you been, brother?
I'm busy, but thanks for having me. I'm just stepped out of my office here and come and meet with you and let's talk a little bit.
So, you heard your intro. It was pretty lengthy. I'm sure you heard those clips. You know I love your no-nonsense approach, but there's a lot of folks on the left that don't like Tom Homan's approach to border security. But Tom, I hear you say it over and over again. Good border security is national security. I mean, how many bad guys, how many terrorists, how many gangbangers did Joe and Kamala let in? We don't even know.
Well, look, I know there's a lot of people in this country who don't like me. I simply don't care. I mean, I'm not running a popularity contest. I knew when I came into this job I'll have my haters, but again, if I get to live in their heads rent-free, that's kind of cool, because I'm not ashamed of what I'm doing. I mean, I worked for the greatest president in my lifetime, President Trump. He promised American people, if elected, that he'd secure the border, which we've done. I mean, President Trump was able to secure the border in 17 days. He did more in 17 days than Joe Biden could or would have done in 4 years. Arrests on the interior are triple that of Biden's. That's a good number, and I'm happy with it, but I'm not satisfied with it. We got to do a hell of a lot more interior operations. We need more targeting, more teams on the ground, which is why we need Congress to pass one big beautiful bill so we can get more resources out there to look for the bad guys. But I wake up every day like a kid in a candy shop because I got a president who's letting us do our job and keeping the promise to American people. We're going to get rid of every criminal, illegal alien, every national security threat, illegal alien from this country. You
brought up a couple things there I want to touch on. The money. A lot of folks are going to say, you're spending billions. I thought we were in debt and we should be saving money and DOJ wants us to cut. Tom, explain to my viewers, though, that if we allow the 18 to 20 million just to stay here that Joe and Kamala let in, it would cost this nation trillions down the road. So why not spend a few billion now to get rid of them? Not to mention the security risk and the crime and the drugs and the guns.
Well, look, first of all, I don't put a price on national security. You said it before.
Amen.
You can't have strong national security if you don't have border security. We need to know who's coming in, what's coming in, where it's coming in, why it's coming in, all those things, right? So I don't put a price on national security. But look, the big, beautiful bill, it's a big number for border security. But it's a one-time cost. You know, secure the border and run this deportation operation. But the billions of dollars we're currently spending on, you know, the millions of illegal aliens here, whether it's schools, hospitals, social services, food banks, I can go on, and, you know, the billions of dollars that we're spending in perpetuity.
Yep.
For illegal aliens on welfare and you know all these social services that are meant for tax-paying U.S. citizens. It's going to be a cost savings to American people over time. So yeah, we got to invest in the beginning because this will be a short-term cost, but it's going to save us billions of dollars in long-term costs because the other costs are in perpetuity unless we get rid of them.
You got it. Tom, let's talk numbers. You heard in my intro that Kristi Noem, I know President Trump has said, we want more. You guys were doing around 1,300 a day. They're calling for 3,000 or more. Is it feasible if you get that cash? What are the numbers we're going to see? And you talked about more interior raids. How is that going to look then going into communities and trying to root out these bad guys?
Yeah, look, I've been saying from day one, I know a lot of media hits me on it because I've been saying from day one, I'm happy with the numbers, but I'm not satisfied. No, we're doing 3 times more than Joe Biden, but he didn't do squat.
Yeah.
We should be doing 20 times more than Joe Biden. So I said from day one we need to have more arrests, but a lot of things are holding us back. Right? We got sanctuary cities. They'll put roadblocks up for us, so rather than arresting the bad guy one and one in a jail, we got to send a whole team in the community find them, which is a lot of work, less efficient. We got district court judges. I heard in your monologue, district court judges who are putting, nationwide injunctions on us from deporting people and freeing up that needed bed space. And of course, we got the whole money issue. I said from day one, the more money we have, the more we can do. The more money we have, the more beds we can buy. Because every illegal alien we arrest, they need a bed. Because we got to bed them down for several days to several weeks while we make those flight arrangements, get the country agreement to take them back,
Sure.
get their travel documents. So the more money we have, the more beds we buy. The more planes we can contract to remove these people. The more agents we can put on the ground. The more contracts we can sign to put, great contract people in position that doesn't require a badge and gun. We got badges and guns sitting at a desk doing administrative duties because there's no one else there to do it. We get more contracts in to do that. That puts that badge and gun on the street. So I agree with the Secretary Nolan and the President and Steve Miller. We got to increase those numbers. We got, like at last count, over 600,000 illegal aliens with criminal convictions walking the streets of this nation.
Wow, that's scary.
Arrested in 1,500 a day isn't getting it done.
No.
So we got to get more, and that's what we're doing right now. We are increasing the amount of teams. We're going to have up to 1,000 teams out on the field here in the next few days. We're going to increase the targeting. And I said this before, sanctuary cities, you're going to get exactly what you don't want. You don't want to give us the bad guy and the safety and security of the jail. We're going to flood the zone. We're going to flood sanctuary city neighborhoods. If we can't arrest the bad guy in the jail, we'll arrest him in the neighborhood. If we can't find him in the neighborhood, we'll arrest him at the workplace. We're going to flood the zone on worksite enforcement also. So these sanctuary cities are going to get exactly what they don't want. More officers in the communities and work sites, and more collateral arrests. Because when we find the bad guy, the target of the operation, likely he's going to be with others. Others are in the country illegally, may not be a criminal target, but in the country illegally, they're going to. So you're going to get exactly what you don't want.
Tom, what's your message? Sorry, what's your message to those liberals that are running those sanctuary cities, those judges that are trying to hide behind the bench, like the one in Wisconsin that hid an illegal from your agents and sent him out the back door? What's your message to these liberals, these Democrats that are breaking our immigration laws and acting like they're a sanctuary for illegals? What's your message?
Same thing I've said from day one. You can hate on us, shame on you. You can not support us, shame on you. You can support sanctuary cities, but if you cross that line, we will seek prosecution. We already had several judges prosecuted, a member of Congress being prosecuted. You can't cross that line. You can't knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from ICE. That's a felony. You can't impede us during our enforcement activity. That's a felony. You certainly can't commit criminal trespass at our facilities, and you certainly can't put hands on an ICE officer because you will be prosecuted. I think there's a zero tolerance in that with Pam Bondi, who's a great attorney general. So look, we're coming to the game. We're bringing everybody to the game. So if you cross that line, we're going to seek prosecution through DOJ. We're not going to be stopped from doing our job. The vast majority of American people voted for Donald Trump to do exactly what ICE is doing. You would think these mayors and these judges and these governors of sanctuary cities would step up and shoulder to shoulder with us. Because we've concentrated on public safety threats and national security threats. I don't care what party you're in. If you're an elected official, your number one responsibility is protecting your communities.
Amen.
And that's what we're trying to do. Work with us, not against us.
Amen. Final one's an easy one. Miss AOC and you obviously don't see eye to eye. There's been a little tit for tat in the media, on social media, in interviews. She's out fundraising on trying to abolish and defund ICE and trash talk Tom Homan. I give the last 30 seconds to Tom Homan to respond to her and any other wacko, liberal, lefty Democrat who wants to defy President Trump's orders and what you're trying to do. Tom, final word's yours, my brother.
Look, I'm going to help AOC because the recent report says crime in her district is up 70%. 70% because she's ignored the constituents of her community. So we're going to help her. We're going to surge ICE agents over there and remove the illegal alien criminal threats from that community. We're going to make her community safer. I can say in New York, ICE has already took 5,000 criminals off the street in New York. We made New York safer. I worked with Mayor Adams. We just indicted 27 members of the TDA, Trenda Agua, and put them in prison. So you know what? I've done more for the safety of New Yorkers than she has. President Trump with his out-of-the-box thinking, this massive operation nationwide. President Trump is making this country safe again. What has she done to make this country safe again? President Trump's committed to removing every criminal threat, every national security threat from our communities. What has she done? President Trump, hands down, he's the greatest president of my lifetime, and he proves it every day to me and to the American people. She hasn't done a squat. Name one piece of legislation she's got through.
Yeah.
I mean, she needs to do her job and let us do ours, because we will make her community safer. She ought to be thanking the men and women at ICE, not trying to abolish them, for God's sakes.
Yes, she should. Tom, the Pitbull Homan, Trump's border czar. Thank you, sir. You're welcome back anytime. I know you're too busy, but I'd love to have you back to talk more as you increase those numbers and continue to make America safe again. Thank you, Tom, for serving. Appreciate you.
You got it. You got to come out with us and see how we're doing in the field. The invite's there. You come out with us, we'll show you exactly what we're doing.
Okay, you text me, I'll get a camera, I'm there. I'm with you. That's a done deal. I'd love to see it. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate
Game
you.
on.
Okay?
Game on.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Looking for news that actually tells the truth, not just the headlines they want you to hear? Then it's time to sign up for OAN Live. It's your go-to source for unfiltered news, sharp debate, and 5 hard-hitting political talk shows, including my show, Real America with Dan Ball. You can watch live anytime, anywhere. No noise, no nonsense, just real reporting and bold conversations that matter to you and your family. You can sign up for OAN Live now to see the truth unfold, and you can catch Real America every weeknight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Just go to live.onn.com. Again, that's live.onn.com and sign up today and start watching every weeknight at 8 p.m. Eastern.